howdy, welcome back to another episode on the Wholesome Range podcast. Hit that like button, don't forget to always stay subscribed, turn on the notification bell if this is your first time on here. We do have a lovely time on this channel. We talk about anything commentary, video essays, documentaries, you name it, whatever that catches my interest, I just pick it up and I talk about it. Yes, and you guys know the drill. Comment down below your thoughts, keep this engaging. Let's remember to always stay polite. And yeah, let's get right into it. We are going to talk about Cassie Ventura and her case against Diddy. Cassie took the stand early this week against Diddy in a case for sex trafficking, sexual assault, and you name it. Diddy has been one who has been very controversial when it comes to the music industry and how he rose to fame. We especially know that when it comes to fame, power, there is a lot of downsides to that. And there are a lot of people who have misused their power, especially in Hollywood. When it comes to Hollywood, you guys know that there is a lot of dirty politics involved in Hollywood. It's been a few days since the case started. You guys know when it comes to sexual allegation, the baby oil scenes, there have been a lot of talk around that. And Cassie went on to expose a lot of things that went down during these freak-off shows. These freak-offs, I'm telling you guys, is very dirty. A lot of things that Cassie exposed in this trial just makes my heart break for her. Cassie showed up to the trial fully pregnant. She's probably due first week of June, and that is a traumatic experience for any pregnant lady to even go through. So I don't wish this for anyone. I don't wish this for anybody at all. We have to talk about Diddy for a second. Sean Diddy Combs, also known as Puff Daddy, has been involved in a lot of sexual assault and scandal over the years. Some of the allegations that he has been accused of over the last few decades, and I'm talking over the span of 10 to 15 years. So in 1999 there was a club shooting incident that Diddy was involved in. Apparently back then Diddy was known as Puff Daddy. He organized the show, but this incident resulted in 9 people losing their lives. And how did I not know about this until I started doing my research? I mean, I'm not a big fan of Diddy, and I know some of his fans may know about this, but personally I am not a big fan of Diddy. I never was until that video came out. I never knew this. Diddy organized this event in 1999. Apparently this was the start of his rise to fame, and you guys also know that there's been a lot of speculation around Diddy, Tupac, and Biggie. Some people speculate that Diddy was somehow involved in the shooting of, you guys know, Tupac and Biggie, but there has been no evidence so far to prove that. So the very first incident that Diddy was involved in was in an incident that resulted in 9 people losing their life, including a 10-year-old child. Diddy was supposed to hire securities, at least enough security to protect people at the entrance of the club, but turns out the day before the shooting, Diddy called his head of security and requested that he reduced his security team to a number of 8 instead of 18. And on the day of the event, a lot of people turned up to this event because the tickets were selling at around $20, and people were expected to buy their tickets at the entrance of the club. This was the beginning of Diddy's rise to fame. So a lot of people and a lot of important artists were playing on that day, so a lot of people showed up. The seating was supposed to carry about 2,000 people. About 5,000 people showed up to the event, thereby causing an overcrowding and people just pushing each other. This resulted in a big glass that was preventing people from the inside to get broken. This shattered and it killed a lot of people. This is a really sad, tragic event for anybody to experience, and it makes me sad to think that 9 people did lose their life on a night that they were supposed to be out clubbing and having fun. Apparently there were no charges being filed against Diddy, and Diddy was let go. He was not the one involved in this directly. He was just the organizer of the event. If he had the necessary security guards in place, or probably thought about the capacity of the venue and just stuff like that, the logistics of setting up an event like that. All of these could have been prevented. 2 years following this incident, in 2001, Diddy was dating Jennifer Lopez. Diddy decided one night to go out with his new signee and protege called Shane. Shane was just recently signed to his record labels, so this was a perfect opportunity to showcase his new protege and his star. But what happened this night, on this particular night, was apparently, according to the stories, Diddy by mistake hit a guy and poured drinks on this particular guy, and this quickly turned into an argument and then a shootout occurred. So this shootout resulted in one lady getting shot in the face. This is what she had to say about this.
I'm a Brooklyn girl. I was born in Brooklyn. I was raised in Brooklyn. My family's from the Caribbean. Between, whether it was times that we spent in the Caribbean or my life in Brooklyn, I'd considered myself a New York girl. I had no intentions of leaving. And probably had this happened, I probably would have never left. But when the district attorney's office gets information from one of their confidential informant sources saying that there's a bag on my head, and I'm calling the district attorney's office, and I'm calling everybody because I look out my window where I was living in Canarsie, Brooklyn, and there's 4 stretched blacked out SUVs I lived on the corner. There's one on that corner, one in front of my house, one on the next corner. Why? That's never happened to me before. I've never seen that. I live in a typical Afro-Caribbean community in Canarsie, Brooklyn, that I had never seen that. But now I look out the window after I got shot by Puffy, and all of these SUVs blacked out on the corners and on the blocks of my house. Why? When the district attorney's office notifies me and my mother that they got and my attorney confidential information from an informant saying that there's a bag on my head and there was also a bag on Scar's head, what should I do? Sit there and wait for them to come get me? Or submit to the will of people who have my best interests and want to move me and my family to preserve my safety?
This lady, her account on this incident resulted in her feeling threatened to the point where she had to leave her home and relocate to a different city. After the shootout, Diddy and Jennifer Lopez decided to leave the premises. And not too long after Diddy and Jennifer Lopez decided to leave the party, they hit a red light. They were stopped by the police and searched. A weapon was discovered in possession of Diddy. There are speculations that Shane had to take the fall for this and ended up serving 10 years imprisonment for weapons charges. That is just so sad. It breaks my heart to see that a new uprising artist with a lot of dreams got his dreams crushed for mismanagement on his own teams, and someone who he's supposed to trust, someone who he's supposed to believe in.
I've done my best to put it behind me and to move forward. But it certainly reopens the wounds that I've been saying this all along. Everyone knew all along that I was the fall guy. But my political enemies and, detractors tried to make me into, this criminal. But everyone knew that I was a young kid that took the fall. Everyone knew that. That was the story. I'm just saying that I maintained my innocence all this time. I said I was defending myself. I didn't get into who did what.
In 2003, Cassie Ventura, a longtime girlfriend of Diddy, decided to file a lawsuit against Diddy for sexual assault and violence. This broke the internet and took the internet unawares. But I guess a lot of people weren't surprised to see that Diddy was being accused of these charges because so many people know that he runs the ring. This is a game of power, obviously. There have been several other women that have come out to accuse Diddy of sexual assault and similar crimes like coercion, rape, trafficking, and even intimidation. So federal investigations started out on Diddy in 2004. The federal investigation, Homeland Security raided his home as a part of the federal investigation for these trafficking claims that he was being linked to. November of 2004, a CCTV video was released. This clearly shows Diddy assaulting and beating up Cassie Ventura. And mind you, I want to say that this video is a very important aspect of the entire trial. Cassie Ventura has been the only woman to come up publicly to stand on her claims of sexual assault, and I think that is a very valid reason, because she and Diddy have been together for a really long time. I think almost 11 years, so she definitely has some dirt on him. Guys, a lot of things went down in this trial, and Diddy's family also showing up to the courtroom. What do you guys think about this? Like, having Diddy's kids show up to the trial. I understand that they are being supportive, but I just think that this is so traumatizing for them to experience firsthand. I mean, having to be in the courtroom and have details of your dad's experience, experience, publicly discussed by a panel of jury and judges and like the reporters and all of that stuff. It's a really scary thing. I know for a fact that I wouldn't want my family to be in that courtroom, even if I were to be the one involved, and there is no way I would find myself in that kind of position. Cassie Ventura discussed a lot of things about her experience in the 11 years of being together with Diddy. She publicly talked about how she would have freak-offs for days, and one of the longest freak-offs she even had to endure was a freak-off that lasted for 4 good days, and I'm pretty sure she was stoked and very high. The leaked CCTV clip was one of the major evidence that was discussed at the trials, with the lawyers on Diddy's side claiming that the video was made to look like he was being extremely violent on her. And the craziest part about this whole entire case is that none of Diddy's lawyers are even talking about Diddy not being accused of any of these crimes. They are openly admitting that Diddy is guilty of all of the crimes, which makes me wonder how this case is gonna go moving forward. Does this mean that Diddy is definitely going to serve time, or is this a scheme to reduce his sentencing? Because there is no way I think that Diddy would be walking as a free man unless they are trying to get this entire case scrapped out. But now the media is involved, people are involved, social media is involved, the whole of Hollywood is involved in this, so there definitely have to be a reason for his lawyers boldly sticking to the fact that Diddy is guilty of some of the crimes that he's been accused of. And Diddy showed up to court looking like someone who hasn't even been in jail, with his hair gray. His entire demeanor during the whole court session basically gave nothing away. Like, I was watching the Rotten Mangoes, her talking about her experience in the courtroom, because she personally was one of the people there to watch the trials, and she was saying that Diddy had literally no look in his eyes. Like, the look he was giving to the reporters and everybody around was just giving intimidating and giving a whole lot of nothing. Just the thought of having someone have nothing in his eyes screams soulless to me. It's a big sign that someone doesn't have empathy. I don't know what to say, because it would seem like I am reading way too much meaning into this, but I believe that eyes as an entry point to the soul. So if you can't read anything through someone's eyes, then that is a big red flag. It seriously is a big red flag for me. So basically, reporters weren't allowed to take pictures, no photos were allowed, only artists, people who would draw. Many you guys have seen the copies of the pictures, pictorial representation of everything in the trial. One of the most important aspects of this trial was the security guard who they called up to the stand to testify and narrate the whole thing that had gone down when he was responding to the noise that Diddy and Cassie Ventura were causing, the disturbance. So some of the arguments and some of the questions he was being asked on the stand really shows that Diddy's guys, his lawyers, they are trying to get this video evidence to be null and void. Basically just make this DV case essentially. And don't forget, Diddy is being charged with a lot of other things other than SA and DV. So he basically showed a video, presented a video to the courtroom, or a video he had recorded after this incident. And according to him, he was saying that he had recorded this video to show it to his wife when he got home, because his wife wouldn't believe him. But everything he had said on the stand was so completely different from whatever he had written in his initial statement. And that is where Diddy's lawyers decided to tie the ropes in by asking him why some of the things he had said in his statement does not correspond with some of the things he was saying in the courtroom. They are clearly trying to paint a different picture of Diddy, and they are making this seem as though he was just under the influence of something, and that is why some of his behaviors that we watched on that video seem to make him look erratic, and that doesn't make sense. There was also another point that some of his lawyers were also trying to speak on, that they made the video seem so fast by kind of compressing the video and making it to play very fast, thereby making his behaviors in the video seem so erratic. Like, guys, even if you slowed that video down, you can clearly see some man who is a monster clearly dragging an innocent woman down the aisle and forcing her to be where she doesn't want to be. Like, literally, in that video, Cassie is a grown adult, capable of making her own decisions, capable of deciding if she wanted to be involved in any freak off whatsoever. The security guard also said that he had seen a guy wearing a black suit in the bedroom when he went in to check, but Diddy's lawyers decided to question him further by asking him questions like what room he was in, if it was a penthouse or if it was just a regular room, and if it was a penthouse, how is he able to figure out that he's able to see someone through the door. But he insisted by saying that that was what he saw. During Cassie Ventura's testimony in Sean Diddy Combs' trafficking trials, she described in detail about freak-offs, stating that a blow-up pool of baby oil and lubricants was placed in the hotel room, and she was told to get inside it in her outfit and shoes. She further testified that close to 10 large-sized bottles of baby oil would be used during a freak-off. According to her, said that initially all of this started off as a fantasy for her, but then it became a job for her, because Sean Diddy Combs would make this daily tax and give her tax daily to figure out where to get the people, either on Craigslist, people that she would go on these freak-offs with, and also figure out where they would engage in these acts. She also accounted on so many years of how Diddy would take over her daily routine, send security guards to monitor her, how Diddy would set up lightning to film the entire freak-offs, and would later on threaten her with these videos getting leaked if she didn't do as he said. Like, this is a very serious account of emotional abuse, sexual abuse, and just possibly the worst thing that I would wish on a 19-year-old. And mind you, all of this started off because Cassie Ventura was signed into Diddy's record label. She was supposed to produce a 10 album. I guess from the start, she was never supposed to release that album, and that is what resulted in her suing Sean Diddy Combs, because none of what he promised her was ever delivered on. It's almost as if she was groomed by Diddy. He sold her a world full of dreams, and she never got to achieve any of those dreams. She left this relationship feeling traumatized. I can only think about her life afterwards. I truly think I understand why she's speaking up for herself now. And I think this is just very disturbing. She also accounted on a lot of times where she almost passed out because of taking so much drugs during these freak-offs. All of these is the accounts from the day 1 and day 2 of the trial. We still have to get more information regarding Diddy's trial moving forward. I'm gonna give you guys definitely more updates on this. And none of these people who have been talking about Diddy for years are kids. You guys know these days it is almost impossible to speak out because of cancel culture. It doesn't take anything to cancel someone. It's literally like this, the snap of your finger, and someone's getting cancelled. So if grown adults like this are literally having to speak up, and you can clearly see how scared some of them are to talk about this, I wonder what kind of power Diddy was operating at. It only makes me wonder how many people had to go through the crossfires of these big celebrities because of power struggle, because of people's fame, because of people's ego. Diddy has also in the past been involved with power struggle between rap artists such as Drake, J. Cole. I know you guys are surprised because Diddy had a little schmeck with J. Cole one night at an event that resulted in him being thrown out of the party, the both of them. And later on, the both of them released statements saying none of that happened, until J. Cole admitted to this years later, saying that they did get into a little scuffle. And yeah, the same thing with Drake. Sean Diddy Combs and the mother of his kids, Kim lost her life due to pneumonia, but a lot of speculations around Kim's death is still ongoing, and I just wonder if they are going to talk about this later on during the trials, because so many people have a lot to say. Kim's death was very unexpected, and even there were people also talking about how fine she was the day before, the people who saw her the day before, and accounted that some people speculate that Diddy must have had a hand in this somehow. Anyways, my heart goes out to Cassie Ventura because she has moved on clearly. She's definitely married to her personal trainer. He goes by the name of Alex Fine. So she's definitely moved on with her life, and she has got 2 beautiful kids with her 3rd baby on the way. So I can only hope that she's able to get some therapy, she's able to heal. Do you guys think that Cassie Ventura would finally be getting Diddy the punishment that he truly deserves? And what do you guys think about this entire Diddy situation? Diddy showing up to court with his gray hair, which we've never seen before. It's finally nice to see people in their true self. Sometimes I feel like because of money, power, and fame, people think that they can literally do whatever it is that they can without people seeing right through them. Yeah. True colors, not just his gray hair, but truly his personality and everything that was being discussed in the courtroom. For those of you who have been Diddy's fan for a really long time, I just want to say that I understand what it means to have someone you look up to suddenly become a monster in your eyes. And I know that there are still gonna be some secret supporters of Diddy. Those people are the toxic ones you need to look out for. So you need to check. If you have any friend of yours that is talking about Diddy as a hero, be mindful of that kind of person as a friend. Seriously, I want to hold your hands and tell you to be mindful of someone like that. We only have to show sympathy and we only have to empathize with Cassie, because this is a really terrible thing for anyone to go through, and I really hope that she can heal and move on from this as quickly as possible. So that's it for today's video. If you did enjoy, you guys know what to do. Hit that like button. Don't forget, guys, to press that notification bell. Subscribe to the channel. Guys. It does help the channel a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys